results from the referendum. Let's start with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have two items on the referendum, two items on our agenda, sorry. And the first one is the results of the referendum. And since you were nice enough to tally the percentages, would you like to read them to us?
Well, I read my handwriting, what you're saying, so.
Just say first what the
All right,
vote
so
was on.
question number one was on the Board of Selectmen budget. 922 people voted and 720 voted yes. That's 78%, so that question passes. The second question was on the education budget. 922 people voted, 679 voted yes. That's 73.6%, so that question passes. Question number three was on the sewer budget. 922 people voted, 748 voted yes, that's 81.1%, so that question passes. Question four was on the appropriation for the trails. 922 people voted, 635 voted yes, that's 68.9%, that question passes. Question five was on expenditure for the roads. 922 people voted, 812 voted yes, that's 88.1%, so that question passes. Question six was for the building, is that junior high school? Yes, the junior high school. 922 people voted, 689 voted yes, that's 74.7%, so that question passes. And question seven was for the cooling for the junior high school. 922 people voted, 683 voted yes, that's 74.1%. So the question seven passes as well.
Thank you. So any discussion or comments? I'd just like to say we thank people that come out and vote. We wish we had more people come out, and we never know what that means, but as long as they're passing, I'm hoping everybody's comfortable that the budget's all passed here in town. Anybody else want to make any comments on that? Okay, let's go to the mill rate, which is the next item on our agenda. And as everyone knows, we spend a lot of time and several iterations with Board of Selectmen and Board of Ed to be able to deliver a zero increase mill rate. And you have the latest mill rate worksheets in front of you. Although there's noise again out of Hartford, we're kind of getting used to it this year. But apparently there's yet another threat to take more money away. This was done based on the latest information and what the legislature put forward. But apparently the governor has decided he wanted to cut the towns a little further. So we won't know yet. Nobody has any information on the cut, how it will impact Simsbury for sure, or whether that cut will stand after the legislature gets back in session. There's certainly other things that can happen. So this has been an ongoing story, and it will continue to be so. The estimates we got were numbers that, if we need to, we'll be able to cover through our reserve levels, which is why we maintain a healthy reserve position in Simsbury. So we're not worried about it, but at the same time, it's kind of not fair after the fact to be changing numbers down for all the towns in the state. But what we have in front of us allows us to give a zero mill rate increase again. This will be the third year we're holding the mill rate at the same level. And so I'd like to ask for any comments from anyone on the board before we vote on it. Any questions on the mill rate worksheet or what's in here?
It's actually same level or lower.
Yeah.
Down.
Because of the car tax. Is that what you're saying?
No, you had a higher mill rate 2 years ago.
That's true. So I think the interaction was good with the boards, and I want to thank both the Board of Ed and the town Board of Selectmen, because when we were staring at possible changes, they were responsive to that.
Absolutely.
I think we have, I hate to be a cushion, but I think we have appropriately set the levels of debt repayment consistent with our policies and looking at the performance against the budget for 2015-16 year. Expect some favorable results there, which will be helpful going forward. I think we all recognize that we have some real challenges in the future years, both on a capital side as well as on a revenue side. But I think the board has appropriately positioned ourselves to deal with those going forward. So I recommend that setting a mill rate consistent with last year is both appropriate and the right thing to do. So I'll make that motion if that's what we.
Okay.
And
Sure.
I would just echo Rob's statements that were said before. We really appreciated the work of the other two boards and their staff. It was a great year working with everybody, very congenial. And I think that the 3 years in a row of no tax increases are critical to Simsbury's future, that we are competing with other towns for residents. I've heard from a number of people selling their houses that this is really important, that house values decline as taxes go up. And if people, are moving out, they, are devastated when they find their house doesn't sell for as much as it would if it were in another town. So by holding our taxes down for 3 years while our neighboring towns have increased, makes us more competitive with those other towns. And I think that's been an important strategy that we'll continue to pursue in coming years.
But it's going to get harder.
It's going to get harder,
Right.
no doubt about that. And I'm not saying we're going to be able to do the same thing next year, but it has been useful for these 3 years to hold taxes flat. So.
Okay. So we had a motion, and did I hear a second?
I seconded it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Anybody, would you like to speak? Anything else? And Maura, how about you? And Jeff, you're good?
Good.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. So we have we have officially established the mill rate for fiscal 17 at 37.12 mils. Okay.
And just to clarify, that also
Does not include the
does
fire
not
district.
include the fire district,
And does anyone have
which is
information
also
on,
flat, right?
I don't know that. Does anyone have information on the fire district? We used to have.
I have some, in fact, there's one more motion, this is sort of the first year we will ever run into this, but I think one more motion you should make is, as you know, we are capping the mill rate on cars at 37 mils collectively between us and the fire district. Fire district has set their mill rate on property at 1.23, I believe, and on cars at 1 single mil. Meaning that we've calculated our mill rate worksheet all along at 36 mils for cars. So when people get their tax bills, and what I think probably would be a good motion from the board tonight, just to be clear,
Crystal.
is that when you get your tax bill for the first time ever, you're going to actually see mill rate on, well, depending on what you're getting. If you're getting your car tax bill, you will see a 36 mil from the town and 1.00 mils from the fire district, because we are capped at 37 per bill. It was going to be 32, but that's now 37, as we talked about before. So as you just established the real estate property mill rate at 37.12, I think it would be good to do a motion for the car tax mill rate on the town side at 36.
So I'll make that motion that we cap the
That
car
we follow the
tax.
state law
Right.
and tax our
We really have a
cars at
choice.
36
Right.
mils.
Right.
36 mils.
And Sean, can I just ask you about this worksheet then?
Sure.
Because the worksheet
Yeah.
comes to a bottom line of 37.12,
Correct.
and that's the worksheet we always used with all the logic in it, that mill rate applied to cars as well as houses.
That's correct. So that had to be modified earlier in this
I
season.
just want to make sure.
And yeah, it's a shame we can't sort of put it on the screen, but the underlying formula, we now have a new line on your revenue side. Revenues from taxation, which we
Oh, I can see you broke out vehicles.
estimate to be
Okay,
76
got it.
million, and then you get about 6.4. The formula there has that at
Yeah.
36 mils
Okay.
rather than the
Excellent.
larger
Just
solving.
making sure.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Then where then
and the motion is for 36
Mills
mills
for cars.
for the cars.
Which is required under the new state
Under
law.
the state law.
And do I have a second for that motion?
Second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have no other business in front of us tonight, so this is always our shortest meeting of the year when everything goes well. So,
I'll move to
can I,
adjourn.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Good, all right.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.